Coming up today on the show, we're going to talk about my most recent Disneyland trip, and we've got a few surprises too. That's coming today on Traveling with the Mouse. Welcome, everyone, to episode number 512 of Traveling with the Mouse. I'm your host this week. My name is Adam, and I am joined today by... Wait, Jason?
Why? Yeah, it's me. I'm not John. I'm Jason. Hi, Adam.
Hey, Jason. It's been a while.
512 episodes. That's been a few. I think I was last here on like episode 200 or something.
No, it's been somewhere in there. But yes, John is not able to make it tonight. So you are here as...
I'm his stand-in. I just felt it would be unfair for you to sit here and talk to yourself for an hour and a half, because that would just remind you too much of your day-to-day life where you just carry on your ongoing monologue. I wanted to give you someone to talk to at least.
Well, I'm glad that I have a soundboard, but you've had several Disney trips that we could discuss too. You've been busy this summer.
I have been. Last time I was on, I think I mentioned about my earlier in the year cruise, Disney cruise. So I talked about that one that happened, I think, back in March. And for that cruise, I did go on the Wonder, where I went from one-way trip, San Diego to Vancouver, a 4-nighter, and got off in Vancouver and spent a few days in Vancouver and explored that city. And so I had a really good time with that. But, one cruise in a year is not enough. You got to have a second cruise. So the first cruise, I was not with my son. I was with my girlfriend instead. So, of course, my son needs a trip. And I planned this one pretty far in advance. It was with some of his school friends and their families. So we had one other family that has twins that are the same age as my son and my son, Andrew, who all went. And we did the Treasure for a 7-night cruise. So brand new ship, good times, Western Caribbean cruise. And I got to say, it was spectacular. It's the longest I've ever done for a cruise. Also the biggest ship. And, the theme spaces, I can talk about some of those. We can go into some of the more details. But just in general, really relaxing, good to be on that ship for a longer period of time. And now I've tried all of the 3 different classes of ships. I've been on the Magic, the Wonder, each once. I've been on the Dream, I guess, 3 times, and I've been on the Treasure now once. So this was also my first cruise as a Gold Castaway Club member as well. Cool. So got to finished up my 6th cruise here, and it was a great time.
So what's your favorite ship out of the ones you've sailed on?
I think it ultimately will depend for me. And if you were someone looking to do a cruise, it's going to depend on the type of cruise you want. I think maybe the most relaxing cruise I had was the one earlier this year on the Wonder, but that might be in part because it was an adults only trip with my girlfriend. And it's a smaller ship. It was a little bit more intimate. There was less to do. And I know that like my son, when we did the Magic a couple of years ago, that was his least favorite ship. And I think that general party did not like the Magic as much because there was less to do. I still liked it. I think there's something special about the smaller ships. You're not fighting over as many resources. And I got to say, the Palo experience on the Wonder was divine. I did Palo twice while I was on the Wonder. And it was so good. Really sold me on the signature dining, of course, on the ship. So that was really good. Yeah. And then for the Treasure, though, I feel like for a longer journey, especially with kids, and I would say even without kids, I definitely want to go back on the Treasure. I want to try the Destiny probably as well, because I think it, from a 7-day cruise perspective, you need a lot more stuff to experience and a lot of stuff to do. And easily like the best overall ship for all people, maybe the one I'd be the most excited to get back on of the 3 at the moment. Now, when it comes to the Dream for a long time, I really liked that class because it's like right there in the middle. But I feel like the Treasure outpaces the Dream for me as far as, the Dream's was trying to be what the Treasure is now. It was the Treasure before it was the Treasure. And I think I would choose the Treasure or the Destiny over the Dream. I've heard stories about the Wish. I have not been on that, but I've heard the Wish is not quite the same, and people can't really put their finger on it why. I spoke
Yeah.
with one of the cast members, or one of the ship people, on the Wonder, who was like a second or third or fourth in command on the walking track one day, and he mentioned
Yeah.
that one of the problems is they built the Wish during COVID, and so they had a hard time getting some of the parts, and they kind of had to
Uh,
they had to sort of cut back on a couple of things and maybe build it with less good materials, because he said the Wish is now in the part where they're doing some of the initial refittings and refurbishments, and as they're stripping stuff back, they're finding some problems on the
oh,
Wish, because it was a COVID built ship. Whereas
I see.
with some of these newer ships,
Supply
Treasure,
chain.
Destiny,
So,
it's a little bit better off. But the themed spaces in the Treasure hands down beat any ship that I've been on or probably will ever be on until maybe the Destiny. Like, it is the most Disney of the Disney ships, if you're wanting themed immaculate spaces, even like at every spot. They don't call it cabanas there, it's Marceline's Tavern, or Marceline's not tavern, but I forget what they call the inn, but it's like Marceline
right,
Square or
right,
something
right,
like that.
right, right.
And the food there, the only thing that was kind of interesting about that is, unlike the ship that you and I went on, at the food stations like that, as well as on the pool deck, you don't serve yourself. Someone else serves you. Even though it's all you can eat, someone's serving you. I think to do a little portion control and
Oh, okay.
sanitation and things like that. But
Okay.
better, more pool deck choices. The food there is really great. And what I also really like is the abundance of these coffee slash alcohol bars. Like, there is a coffee bar in the quick service Marceline's area. So like, it's a Alice in Wonderland themed bar, or slash it can be a bar, but it also has coffee and espresso drinks and things like that. So more espresso drink areas. That's not just like Cove Cafe. So you have more places to go get your caffeine fix if you want it. The theaters, having both of the movie theaters, fantastic. The Lion King themed event space is just gorgeous. Everything, honestly, gorgeous, immaculate. It felt overwhelming at first, but by day 7, I can navigate it. It was really nice. Um, I don't know. It's just, Disney cruises all the way around are really good. I think the other thing I also
Yeah.
really like, way they're organized on the Treasure, and I assume it's the Wish is the same, the Destiny will be the same, is the adult space is not like it is on the Wonder, the Magic, the Dream, and the Fantasy, where kids can actually pass through it, because if you it's on those ships, it's on the same deck as the regular pool deck. And on the other side of that adults area, there is the Senses Spa. So if you're
Mm,
trying to get to the far elevators, or you're trying to get to Senses Spa, kids can actually cut through the adults pool deck area. Right.
yeah.
And so the adults pool deck area is one level above the main pool deck, but it's on one end of the ship. And so it's
Yeah.
completely separated,
I
and
see.
completely adults only. The other thing that's interesting about that I think some people don't like about this class of ship is that instead of having a dedicated just adults nightlife area, those areas are spread throughout the ship. So it's not like all compact in one spot. So you have like the jazz, or whatever, the
Mm,
piano club is right there near where the lobby is, which is across from the Skipper bar, the like Jungle Cruise bar, which is like
oh,
a
yeah.
family
Yeah.
area. That's a family bar where they do like trivia and stuff, which is right there where the Haunted Mansion bar is.
Mm,
So yes, that's a fantastic bar. And so they have
yeah.
a couple of these adults only spaces sort of dotted around.
Okay.
It's not quite as contained, but I think it works pretty well for keeping traffic flow spread out.
Well, that's good to know.
The other thing I would say too, I'm adding a few things along the way. You know how, like, when we were on the Dream together, Adam, we had
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
giant dining rooms, right?
Yeah.
Just massive ones. Other than the Coco dining room, which has the open stage and has sort of the show going on, like the Walt Disney dining room that's like half Walt, half Roy. The way they lay it
Yeah.
out is you're kind of like in more contained spaces, like there's curves and stuff. So you always feel like you're in a smaller dining room than you actually are. Same thing for the Avengers dining room and things like that. You don't feel like you're in nearly as big of a feeding trough, if you will. I also tried Palo
Right.
there. Palo was very similar to the Wonder, but it was also a steakhouse, so you could get steak in addition to everything else. And then there is the bar attached to Palo and Enchante, which was the even more elevated one that we walked through it, but we didn't go eat there. The Rose, which is a fantastic bar, maybe some of the best. And they were telling us
Wow.
that if you go on the ships, the Wish it's telling the story of Beauty and the Beast. On the Wish, it's the first part of the story, and so
Uh,
all of the decorations are about the first part of the story, and the Rose is in a different state than it is here on the Treasure, where it's a little bit further
uh,
along into the story, and then on the
uh,
Destiny, it will complete the story
wow.
as they continue. So if you go on each of the progressive ships that has the Rose on it, it will actually be a progressive story through those ships
Wow.
as well.
Well, that's impressive.
I know.
Wow. Did you sit in the chair at the Haunted
Mm,
Mansion? The Donald chair, I call it, but
I sure did. I got a picture. I did not sit there and drink for
that's
a
right.
while. I got up. I got my picture there. Haunted Mansion bar theming immaculate. I
Yeah,
could sit
it
there all
looks
day.
so good.
Drinks not good.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah, no, they're not. I think they did that on purpose. I mean, they're not to my liking. I would say, they just aren't the way I would like. Maybe they don't want you to sit there and want to drink all day.
okay. Were they just overpriced or were they just not
They were
good?
expensive, and also I just didn't either too sweet or just not my
Oh,
style.
I see.
They weren't my style as far as drinks go.
Watered down or
So
sugared down?
yeah, but
One or the
sitting
other.
there is great. And during the day, before 9 o'clock, I think it is, the kids can go in there with you. So
Oh, okay. That's
yeah, they have
fine.
non-alcoholic kid drinks, obviously with the upsell to the souvenir cup if you want it and all that
Of
stuff.
course, yeah. Yeah, my kids
Mhm.
like to go with me to get the, like, Shirley Temple or something, whatever, depending on what they have that is
This is
a
also an interesting one
mocktail.
because oh, sorry. This is
No,
also
go
an interesting one because Andrew is 10. So he was not really into either of the kids' clubs, and he seems to be not a kids' club kid. He would spend some time in the room while I would go off and do stuff and actually enjoy watching the movies on the TV and stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
He sort of clung to me, but the other kids were really into it. And because they were 10, they were eligible, of course, for the ocean. This is the last year they can be in the Oceaneers Club.
Oh, right.
But we could also give them special permission to go to Edge. So they could actually go to both, which is the
Mm,
next like preteen club.
I see.
I thought that my son would really like Edge because they have video games, but he said they kept turning the video games off to do activities. So,
Oh,
so they would have the
oh,
different
I see.
activities. But the twins that we went really liked Edge. I feel like they got over Oceaneers Club after one day, but there is something on there that I think your older son,
Yeah,
would
yeah.
really enjoy, although he's too old for it, which is where you can design your own coaster and then ride in it in a VR
Oh,
experience, almost
yeah.
like a VR experience.
He'd
So I
love
think if
that,
you
yeah.
ever go on that, you'd have to take him there during one of the adult open houses where they allow the adults and other people to play with the stuff.
Uh, yeah, I definitely would. Yeah, he'd love that. That sounds cool. Wow. What destinations did you go to? Like, the,
Yeah. It had a few destinations. Some I've been to before, some I haven't. It went to Cozumel,
oh, okay.
which is a place I went on a prior cruise, although our excursion got rained out the last time, and we went with some of these same people when I went before. And it was
I
like the
see.
dune buggy adventure where you drive this dune buggy through Cozumel and you go into this forest and you do a few things and then you go
Wow.
and have lunch and there's snorkeling or something like that.
Yeah,
So we did that and it was really fun driving that dune buggy. So I've driven in Mexico now.
right.
I did not go snorkeling, but my son did. The place where they dropped us also had food, and I enjoyed a delicious ceviche on the beach. It was
Ah,
so good.
wow.
It stopped in Grand Cayman, but we did not get off. The people we were with have been to Grand Cayman many times. I would have gotten off, but we thought it was going to be better to do like the Aquamouse and some of those things, which I think was great.
Oh, okay.
And the main reason I didn't get off is Grand Cayman was not a port where you're docked. You have to take like a little small boat in. Like a boat
Oh,
takes you from
really?
the ship into the shore,
It just sits
right?
offshore somewhere? Hmm.
Sits offshore. But the way that they try to get you to go in is Grand Cayman has a rule that they can only sell alcohol at one location while you're in port. So only on the pool
Oh,
deck was there the only place that you could buy alcohol while they were in port. So they were trying.
okay.
It's like you can't buy booze on the ship. Get off and come
Right.
spend it here.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. They gotta support their local economy there. Yeah.
Yeah, but we did not get off. And like I said, we didn't have an excursion. I wouldn't have mind seeing Ring Cayman because I haven't been, but I wasn't about to take a 30-minute boat each way. I mean, I do
Wow.
love a good old raft ride, but this one seemed a little excessive.
It wasn't the same kind of raft.
Wasn't the same kind
That
of raft. No.
Speaking of rafts, though, you did ride the rafts at
One
Disney
more time.
World like the day before it closed or 2 days
I think it
before. What
was
was it?
a day or 2 days before it closed. Yeah, I rode it one last time.
Yeah.
Did one
That
last
was
tour of the island.
I sort of did mine back in January. I sort of said my goodbyes. So,
It was sad.
yeah. I mean, that was one thing to see it at Disneyland, although Disneyland's is much smaller Tom Sawyer Island than Disney World had, but
Which I did this like right after the cruise. So I finished the cruise
and
and
then
I
did
stayed
the
one extra night because I think the cruise, maybe it was 2 extra nights. I can't remember how many nights it was, but we got back on either a Friday or a Saturday and I didn't go home till Sunday. I just, because it was out of Port Canaveral.
right.
The next stop that we did was Falmouth, Jamaica.
Hmm.
That was really good for my son Andrew. It was his favorite thing. We did this. It was a zip line and waterfall adventure. The zip line was kind of lame. It was billed to be much more than it was, but it was pretty like I'm not a big zip liner, but
Yeah.
still is pretty tame. But then there's this like long, steady waterfall of rocks, and you walk all the way down to the bottom. It's in this little, it's like a park, all this stuff is. And you walk, you like put up, they sell you these water shoes or you bring them and you climb up the waterfall through the water.
Oh,
So we got to climb
okay.
the waterfall. It took a while. Andrew had a blast with that. That was his favorite thing I think we
Huh.
did on the cruise by far. He got to
Wow.
climb, he got wet, we got to, walk up and
Huh.
down through the waterfall. And it was really fun. So we did that and then
Hmm.
they took us to
Interesting.
I think a pretty tourist trap, quote, famous Jamaican restaurant for some food. It was fine. Had my
Yeah.
red stripe beer, had to have a red stripe. So
Yes. Hooray beer.
yeah, hooray beer. So that was pretty good. And then of course the last stop, the best stop, as always, Castaway Cay.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're coming up. You're going to do Beacon Barrel, right? In a few weeks.
So yeah, well, next week, I'll be there from
Yeah.
October 9th
Totally.
through the 14th. And if all goes well, I think John might be there too.
Yeah.
So I might run into him. This will be a kid-free trip for me as well. I'm going with my girlfriend. This is going to be our second time going together. And just I think in the last couple of days, I've been checking for months to see if I can get a
Yeah.
Beacon Barrel or GO82. And it just so happened that one night recently when I was looking, the way I've been looking, by the way, is instead of picking a day, what I'm doing is I'm searching Beacon Barrel in the app and then
Yeah.
doing check dining
Seeing,
availability where
right.
it'll show you if
Check
there's
the
any green
whole.
dots. Yeah.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
look at the whole thing. And I saw a green dot on the day we arrive when we're doing the Halloween party. So on October 9th, we're doing the Halloween party, which starts at 7. We don't have a park ticket. I do, but she doesn't for that day. But they had a Beacon Barrel pop up for 6:40 p.m.
Yeah.
I snagged it and I'm like, great. So now I can go in. We can get in for the party as early as 4.
Right.
We'll be
Exactly. So
driving
you'll be there.
down. We'll be driving down for the first 2 nights. We're going to be staying at the Grand Floridian. Very all DVC point stay.
Yeah.
I've also been massaging this for months to end up getting this perfect stay.
Right.
So two nights Grand Floridian, staying in a preferred studio. So I should have a view of the castle. So gonna hit up the Beacon
That'll be
Barrel, do
cool.
the Halloween party. On the next day, do Magic Kingdom proper and all that kind of stuff. Then I'm getting one night Riviera where we're going to use that as home base for a day, where I think we're going to do an Animal Kingdom Epcot kind of day. Then we're going to have like a no park day. She's not going to have tickets for a day. And that's the day we move back to a different hotel. We're going to be staying at Bay Lake Tower theme park view room for 2 nights.
That's pretty nice.
And I think that's what her biggest thing is fireworks. I think I mentioned that on our previous trip report. So we'll have those beautiful fireworks that we can go see. She's never really explored Disney Springs, those types of things. I got a summer house on the lake reservation. So we're going to, do a brunch there, those types of things. So got a lot of really cool things on the docket. The Riviera night got a Topolino's, all sorts of stuff like that. So, but yeah, I've got a Beacon Barrel. Have not been able to find a Geo82. Not exactly sure if I want to, because I'm not sure if I want to spend the money on Geo82. I feel like at some point I have to do Geo82, but I don't know.
Well, it's adults only, so that's one of the opportunities you'll have. Oh, yeah. But anyway, one of the best things about an adult-only trip is you don't have to go to the parks. Like, kids just want to do rides all day, but they tolerate going to the lounges and stuff that we do, restaurants. But, yeah, without kids, you don't have to worry about entertaining them all day.
We don't have to worry about that. And we might have a crazy idea for our final night. I don't know if this is possible. Tell me if you think this is possible, okay?
Okay.
She's a fireworks person.
Yeah.
She wants nighttime spectaculars. 8 p.m. Phantasmic goes on at Hollywood Studios. Okay.
I see where you're going with this.
At 9 p.m., Luminous happens at Epcot.
Right.
Okay.
Ends around 9:20-ish, right? Yeah.
Okay. So you get in the car. We're staying at the Contemporary at a theme park view room.
Yeah.
We go up to our room at 10 p.m. The Halloween fireworks go off at Magic Kingdom.
Oh, yeah. You got plenty of time to do that.
So we could triple nighttime then. 8, 9, 10. Get all 3 in one night.
Totally could. You would have to be parked probably at Epcot then, right?
Well, currently for that night, we have a dinner at like 5 at Trattoria Al Forno. So I could be parked at the boardwalk.
Okay. So you could be near, you could just be in like France or something.
Yeah, watch out
from like France or UK area, and then hightail it to the boardwalk to get in your car to get back to Contemporary, which wouldn't be that long.
But if I'm parked there, what's the plan for Hollywood Studios? You get done with Phantasmic. Is Skyliner too long to make the beginning of Luminous, or will I maybe miss the beginning? And also, if Luminous is started at 9, will they still let you in if you show up after Luminous starts? Because the park is technically closed.
Yeah, you have to get in before 9. I forgot how long Phantasmic is. You may have to like run from Hollywood to, but if nothing else, you could watch it from the boardwalk. I mean, you wouldn't see the whole thing. It says it's
approximately 30 minutes.
Well, if you sat near the back and you just hightailed it as soon as the show was over, you could probably make it. If you were first on the Skyliner before and it didn't break down or slow down.
But I don't know if we've ever tested. Can you enter a park while the fireworks show is still going on if the park is technically closed? The park closes at 9, but the fireworks show goes off at 9 while they still let you in.
I doubt it. I feel like after 9, they wouldn't let you in. But as long as you got there before 9, I think you could get in to the gateway, International Gateway.
But I guess the worst case scenario is we take the Skyliner, we get back to the International Gateway, we get the night entry, we're parked at the boardwalk.
Yeah.
And then we could just
drive. You can still watch it. I mean, you won't see it up close, but you can still watch above the tree line. You can still see some of it.
Yeah, but we'd be right there in our car at the boardwalk.
Yeah, that too. Drive. Yeah. Go get a slice of cake at the Cake Bake Shop.
Yeah, exactly.
Why not? $23 slice of cake.
It's a giant slice of cake. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's enough for 2
there.
For sure.
We ate there.
Yeah. Yeah, back in January for your birthday, essentially.
Yeah. So to get back to what you've been up to, I'm going to talk about a future trip that might lead into what you've been doing. So you know how I told you I went San Diego to Vancouver on the Wonder when they repositioned the ship. Right? I plan into February. I'm going to do the reverse trip, Vancouver to San Diego. When I get back in San Diego, I plan to spend 3 nights at Disneyland.
Yep.
in the Disneyland Hotel, another DVC stay. So I've been able to get, even with all this DVC I'm doing now, I'm really low on points for like the next 2 years. But that said, I'm getting a lot of good stays out of this thing. So I'm going to be
Yeah.
able to, and I will tell you, I'm actually considering paying that DVC upcharge for next year, that $99, so I can get the tickets, the like DVC
Like
ticket deal
for Disneyland, right?
for Disneyland.
Yeah.
I looked into it. What you
That'd be
get,
cool.
by the way, with the DVC premium package, or where it's like $100 a year, is you get the tickets are essentially the same price. It just includes Lightning Lane with the ticket. Essentially, the Lightning Lane's
I
free.
see. Well, okay. Which Disneyland I discovered is more expensive and less needed than
Yeah.
Disney World by far.
Yeah, why would you tell us about that? I mean, I was texting you while you were there. It sounds like you had a good time. When's the last time you went before this?
It was November of 2016 was the last time I was at Disneyland. So
no Avengers Campus.
nope.
They have Cars Land back then?
Yes, they did. Yeah. We rode Radiator Springs Racers that trip, but Galaxy's Edge was just starting construction essentially at that point.
It was not Pixar Pier yet, right? It was
Nope. It was the Paradise Pier, right? Yeah, Pier.
Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah. So we didn't even ride Incredicoaster, which was California Screamin' back then, because my son was too young, and so we didn't even ride it that first time. So this was my first time doing Incredicoaster, which was incredible.
It's a great coaster, man.
Yeah, it was. It might be my favorite Disney coaster. I don't know. I have to think about that. It was
better than Guardians?
It's hard to say. Like Guardians is probably, it's up there. I'll just put it. It's probably in my top 3.
I definitely think Incredicoaster is better than Rock and Roller Coaster for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Trying to think if I know you guys love Everest, you and John, but I'm like Everest is good, but I always get dizzy for some reason on Everest these days.
It's really high G's. I think it's got the highest G's of any of the Disney coasters. Just that one backwards drop really,
I guess, yeah, gets you.
Really gives you.
I don't know what it is for me, but I always end up slightly headache feeling after riding Everest. I love it. It's a great coaster, but I usually feel kind of odd after riding it for a while. So I'll do it once, but.
Well, it's usually all of that stuff. You had a Nomad Lounge before you went on.
It could be partially, or the Thirsty River over there. We always stop there on the way.
Bar. We always stop at that bar. I was like, because the kids always want that ice cream that's right there too.
Yeah, it's the ice cream place. It's not far, but and we're like, well, Thirsty River's right there on the way to Everest, so chug it while you're walking through line. We've done that. Actually, remember when we did La Cava? We took La Cava. I guess it was after we were there. We took drinks to go, and we just kept circling the line for the Grand Fiesta Tour because we didn't finish our drinks. We just kept going through the queue until we finished our drinks. It took forever. Anyway, sidebar. Disneyland. Yeah, we had basically 3 days, so we flew out super early Wednesday. We had that whole day, which, we probably should have had a buffer day because the kids they didn't really get used to the West Coast time while we were there. So every night at like 8 p.m. they were gassed and they just couldn't keep going. So we had to cut basically every night short. I think the second night was the one night we stayed almost to park close, but they couldn't keep going. Started having meltdowns.
How far was the hotel?
We stayed at the Hilton Garden Inn, Garden Grove, and it was, it was like a mile and change. So we didn't walk in. I just Ubered. They have that bus system, but that hotel and like the Embassy Suites or whatever it was, I forgot what was next to us, but that was like the last stop. But, if you got on it, then, you go straight to the Disneyland. But But if you are coming back, you got to stop at like all the hotels along the way. So I just opted to Uber because, well, I should say instead of Uber, Lyft. I use Lyft. I prefer Lyft over Uber.
I do use Lyft as well for many reasons. Uber was pretty not great to its workers, that CEO at one
Exactly.
time. And then the other thing is Lyft also partners with Disney, and that's where you get the
Right.
minivans. So
That's exactly why. So that, but both the reasons you just stated are why I prefer Lyft in general. So I use Lyft. It was like it's about $7 or $8 per ride, and so it still was cheaper than parking at the Disneyland parking deck every day. So it worked out. So it was probably like a 8-minute drive to Disneyland and back every day. It was not hard to get a Lyft going to and from. Went to Disneyland the first day. Of course, we did Disneyland, and then DCA the last day, California Adventure last day. The reason why was because Radiator Springs Racers had just came back from a refurb that day. So I timed it so that we could get on Radiator Springs Racers. So that's why I was originally going to do Disneyland, DCA, then Disneyland again. But once I saw the refurb schedule, I was like, well, I have to ride Radiator Springs Racers. So
were you sad you didn't have park hoppers at all, or were you fine without the park hoppers?
I think it was fine without it because I didn't really want to. I didn't feel the need to park hop. And yes, we didn't spend the extra money too on an Oogie Boogie, which my kids, of course, wanted to do that. But it was like, it's for one, they wouldn't have been able to stay up that late. So it would have
Yeah.
been a waste of money either way. So in hindsight, I'm glad I didn't, even though it would have been a cool experience. But maybe,
It just adds up so much when you go out there because, my trip next week was originally I was trying to look for an Oogie Boogie trip for this time period.
yeah,
But then when I was comparing what I could
yeah,
get here, and just to be clear, it's so much cheaper for me here because one, I have the pass. Two,
yeah,
I
yeah,
drive there. Three, I'm staying on DVC points. So it's essentially like it's gas
yeah,
to get there and food while I'm there. That's what I got to do.
right. Yeah, it's not super expensive. And that was one of the things that kind of surprised me was a little bit. I mean, I guess it shouldn't have been, but the sticker shock of some of the, especially drink prices.
Yeah. Well, it's harder to swallow too because when you go to Disney World,
Yeah, you can get
you're you,
discounts
you're
occasionally
you're getting these
too.
discounts. You're also you've already paid for your ticket, so you're not thinking about the
Right.
ticket price when you show up. You
That's true.
you pay for a hotel, but the hotel's reasonable. Like you're staying on property for a
Right.
price that you would never be able to stay on property at Disneyland.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So I guess when people ask, like, what are the biggest differences, if you're not familiar with Disneyland and Disney, but you are with Disney World, Disney World has so many more hotel options that are affordable. Disneyland, there's plenty of affordable options that are they're good neighbor hotels that were not terrible prices, but they're not Disney resorts. Like Disney World, you can stay at a Disney resort under $200 a night. Some closer to, maybe 150, even less if you stay at value. But yeah, that's one of the biggest differences is I think Disney World can be more affordable in general, especially if you're from the East Coast, because you have the flights would be more expensive if you're
I
an
do
East
think
Coast
it's
person.
overall a more economical trip for most folks because there is the value pricing.
Yeah, yeah.
Aren't the tickets slightly cheaper at Disney World too?
It depends on the day, I think. I think I paid about the same I'd pay for per day. But I think you can get discounts, like especially the summer promotions Disney World does, where you can get like kids this summer, I think were like $99 or something like that, They have more promotions than Disneyland does. So,
So like it's saying here for a 3-day ticket at Disney World starts at $125 per day. A 3-day ticket at Disneyland starts at $139 per day.
Yeah. So there is a difference. It's comparable, but there's also more ticket deals at Disney World and Disneyland, that's for sure.
Okay.
So yeah, I think Disney World's cheaper. Anyway, so let me get to some of the things, because I do want to talk comparing rides, because that's another thing that a lot of people are, ask me a lot is, are the rides the same? Like, what's different? Are they, a lot of the rides are similar or the same type of ride or same ride, but Disneyland, I would argue, I think we both kind of agree that most of the rides that are the same between Disneyland and Disney World, Disneylands are slightly better or a lot better in some cases. But there's definitely exceptions to that. So we can get into some of that. But the first thing we did when we went to Disneyland was we walked in. My son, youngest Harrison, was very confused when he walked in because he's like, this is familiar, but like, where are we? He was very like, huh? And then you see the castle and it's much smaller and you're like, wait, what? It's the same, but it's not the same. And where are we? It feels similar. Yeah, he was very confused for a while. But we went to Pirates first because I was like, well, I got to do Disneyland Pirates because it's definitely better than Disney World's by a lot. And once he got off Pirates, it was kind of like, well, parts of it were the same, but it was a lot longer, which, yeah, there's a lot more to see.
Story builds better.
Yeah, you start in New Orleans, you're on the bayou, you kind of go down into the caves, and you transition better, and then you transition from the caves into the like Tortuga or whatever, the town, and then you transition into, I guess, the jail scene, and then the armory, and then you go back up, and then you transition back. So it makes a more complete story, whereas Disney World was sort of just, an abbreviated version of the best parts of the Disneyland ride, maybe. I wouldn't even argue some of the best parts either, but anyway, much shorter, not as good.
So that's one in common. I have the whole list here, so I'm going to be curious to see which ones you did in both.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we pretty much did every ride at Disneyland. There was a few that we didn't, but some that I hadn't done before.
Did you go do the canoes?
Right.
Paddle?
We did. Actually, we thought about it that they were closed that day for whatever reason. The Columbia was also closed for a refurb, so we didn't do that. But we did do the Mark Twain, and that was, I had not seen it with my own eyes, the Mark Twain with the new kind of configuration of the Rivers of America, which I really liked. Disneyland's was so much better than Disney World's anyway. Like the Rivers of America part, doing the Lily Bell was not nearly as much to see as the Disneyland version has. So if we were going to say, if we were to lose one of them, the Disneyland version's better. So yeah, whatever they build at Disney World, I guess, will be fine. I'm not super upset about it.
So you're saying that the Rivers of America Disneyland is better than the current version of the Rivers of America Disney World?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, definitely. Hands down.
Better than a dry riverbed?
Yeah, exactly. And construction walls.
Yeah.
But all right, so other rides that were the same, I don't know, do we want to go down the list?
All right, I can give you a list. Did you do It's a Small World?
Yes. That one is a tough one. It's kind of a toss-up for me.
Right. Very different in a lot of ways, but also very similar in many.
Right. The one drawback to me is like you're sort of in a trough.
Right.
The Disneyland version. And the Disney World version is a little bit more like Pirates, where the whole room is flooded, or whatever you want to call it. The whole ride. But you also, at Disneyland, when you start outside, it's sort of like Monster Mansion at Six Flags over Georgia. Which I joked with.
Do they still have the like Disney characters on that one that you see throughout as well?
Yeah, the Disneyland one has the Disney characters sprinkled in, which I kind of like. not having that. I kind of like the Disney World version. It's a little
Me too.
more purist, even
I feel like
though
the
it's not the
Disneyland
original.
characters, there's no reason for you to have, like,
Yeah,
there's no reason that any of those characters add anything to the story of
right.
It's a Small World.
Yeah,
It's not like like adding a Wally in there does nothing for anybody. I don't even know if
yeah.
Wally's
What
in there.
or Woody and Jesse or whatever. Yeah, it's like
Like, yeah,
what does
what
it do?
country are
Yeah,
Woody and Jesse from? Like,
right. Yeah. Wait, what is it, man? Yeah. The other thing though, the Disneyland version does do like the holiday overlay, which last time we were there, it was like right before Thanksgiving, and they had already converted it. So we got to ride the Christmas version, which was pretty cool. But it's hard to say because the Disney World version the entrance is not great, I would say,
right,
but the ride itself was pretty good. I think it's
right.
better overall, but so it's kind of a tie, I would say, in that one.
Yep. Okay. Next one. And every castle park has this Peter Pan's Flight.
No, that's actually the one we didn't do at Disneyland this time. I did do it the last time, but that was like 10 years ago. So I think the Disneyland version was slightly better, if I remember it right, but I don't
Now,
remember. The queue is better at Disney World.
yes, our friend Nathan Firesheets from a prior pod claims that
Yeah,
the best version, I think, is the Disneyland Paris one, in his opinion.
which I have done that one, but that was several years ago now too. And I remembered it was good. I think it was better than Disney World. So I don't really know about that one.
All right. This one, I don't know if there's any difference in your opinion other than, all right, Dumbo the Flying Elephant.
Definitely better at Disney World because one, you have two, so it's shorter wait. And I just think the sort of like circus area fits Dumbo better than just sort of
Yeah.
being stuck in Fantasyland, and it's not, I don't know, it's not a great location. It's always in the sun too, so Disney
Neat.
World is
Okay.
better.
Teacups.
Disneyland's is better themed, so I have to give it to Disneyland on that one.
Yeah, I agree. So when you say you did everything, did you do the submarine?
Yes, we did do the submarine
Nice.
and almost fell asleep because we did it at night. And but it was good. I mean, again, I would prefer the submarine over Epcot's, the Seas with Nemo and Friends. If it's somewhat comparable, not quite, but kind of comparable, I would take the submarine any day over Epcot's.
Oh, that reminds me. One of the trips I forgot to mention, because I wrote Nemo, that's the trip I forgot to mention. I went essentially by myself
Yeah.
to take one of my coworkers and her family
Oh yeah,
around.
that's right.
So I sort of was a
That
tour
was right
guide
before
weekend.
that was right before we went. And
Yeah, I
man,
did like a tour guide weekend. So, and I had to
yeah,
ride Nemo because the kid wanted to ride
yeah. Right.
it.
It's on my
Okay. I know what you're going to say here. And I even heard what your son said on this one. Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, it's better at Disneyland overall. And again, it replaced Toad, Mr. Toad'swell
I feel
ride
like
at
it's a
Disney World.
totally
So
different ride at Disneyland.
yeah. And it starts outside again, which, Disneyland can do that because it doesn't rain nearly as much there, of course. Which it did rain, by the way, the last day we were there at Disneyland, which I never expected that to happen. But it wasn't like a lot. It was just a tiny drizzle, but it did rain, oddly enough.
Wow.
But yeah, Pooh is better. There's some better scenes there at Disneyland.
Yeah. I thought it was better too when I went. All right, now we're going to get into some of the mountains. You did Space Mountain, I presumed.
Yes, Space Mountain
Disneyland.
is so much better at Disneyland, but I still like the Disney World version, but Disneyland is so much smoother. It has its own
It is.
soundtrack, which is better. It's just so much smoother. I was like, boy, this is refreshing.
I will tell you though, when they make it hyperspace, I don't like it. I don't think Hyperspace
Sure.
Mountain works.
Yeah, I agree. When it's just regular Space Mountain, it's better.
Because I mean, I just don't feel like Space Mountain was meant for Star Wars. There's Star Wars rides for Star Wars.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. I hope they will do that eventually, the Disney Worlds, where they just replace the track like they're doing with Big Thunder. I wish they would do that. But anyway.
Well, speaking of Big Thunder, that's the other one, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
That one between Disney, I think Disneyland Paris has the best one, but between Disneyland and Disney World, I kind of like, I like the queue area and the ending of Disneyland's, but I think Disney World I prefer.
I
I don't know.
agree. I felt like Disney World, the Disneyland's classy and it has all this. I feel like Disney World was a more fun ride,
Yeah, I don't know.
just
I
in general.
agree. I think the first two sections are better Disney World. So
When I took this is when I took my son a couple years back. I remember him getting on that and just being like, "Yeah, Disney World's better on that one." Like he didn't want to ride it again. He likes
oh
Big
really?
Thunder at Disneyland. He's like, "Yeah, that was not that good."
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tough critics we are creating with our children.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
I think I know what you're going to say here. Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Yeah, Disney World. That's one of the few that I definitely think Disney World is far superior to
Is it because of the way the
Disneyland's.
log is situated? What is it that's so much better about Disney?
That's part of it is the log. I don't love the way you have to sit in it, and because the log is front to back, and I guess the way it's built, this first tiny drop, our whole log was like flooded, and my feet were like soaking wet, and I had nowhere to put them. So our Lyft driver was like, "Oh, if you're in the front, it's actually better at the Disneyland version because you can stick your feet up like inside the thing and your feet won't get wet." I was like, "Oh, great, okay." But on the big drop, we didn't get wet at all. Me and Aiden like barely got wet,
Wow,
and we were in the
that's
front.
that
He was
works.
front, and I was second. But the first drop, we were soaked. So anyway,
So I think in case people here who listen to our show for some reason don't know all these things, we'd love to educate you. The difference being that in Disney World, it
yeah,
is 2 or 3 people side to side per row, and so the
right,
logs are wider. But the
right,
Disneyland, it's just 1 per row.
right. It's kind of like Matterhorn or our Space Mountain in Florida is like front to back, like you're loading in like a. But you can
Yeah.
get there's more people than I thought. You can get like 6 people in a boat and a log or whatever. But I think the Disney World version is bigger too. It's definitely bigger, so it just feels more spacious, and I like that better. So
All right, you already spoke about Pirates of the Caribbean. This is going to be a
yeah,
tough compare because it's overlay, but Haunted
yeah.
Mansion. You did the overlay
So
version.
if it's just Haunted Mansion, it's Disney World is better because there's an extra scene or two. Is a little bit longer. We now have Hatbox Ghost too, so I think I would normally prefer Disney World's. However, the overlay of the Haunted Mansion Holiday with the Nightmare Before Christmas, my kids love that movie now, and it's fantastic how they do that overlay. So we were so impressed with the Haunted Mansion Holiday that we had to
You
do it
did it
again.
twice, right?
We did Lightning Lane, but then we just did standby and waited like 40 minutes because it was worth it to do it again. So
That's nice. And the rethemed queue and everything too. The queue has been just recently redone there. So
yeah. And the queue is not bad. Again, most of the queues at Disneyland are outside, a lot of back and forths. So they're not super themed necessarily. But I love I love Disneyland's version of this. So it's very well done for the holiday.
Mhm.
So love it.
All right, this is an interesting one. And I think this one's going to be biased because of your experience. It's Jungle
Yeah.
Cruise.
Yeah, I definitely think Disney World's Jungle Cruise is better. It's one of the two that hands down to me, Disney World's is better. One, it's longer. You have more space. The the water was it the waterfall is like a tiny little waterfall at Disneyland's, and Disney World is actually a nice waterfall, an actual waterfall, not a little
You're talking about
spigot.
Albert Falls.
Yes, Albert Falls. is so tiny. It's just funny to see like this little trickle of water going over, and Disney
Yeah.
World is like this huge
Oh,
like
no, sorry.
waterfall.
It's Schweitzer Falls, named after Albert
Yeah, I
Falls.
was gonna say it's Schweitzer, isn't it? But yeah, but yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
Which I don't know
so
if people. I wonder how many people get that joke there, because I remember as a kid, for some reason, I did a report as a kid on Albert Schweitzer and what
oh
he did. I don't remember much about Albert Schweitzer. I just remember he's like a famous guy, and so like
oh
that's the whole gag, is they're going to say Albert Schweitzer, the guy, but it's
hmm
Albert Falls.
right. But yeah, and you have the cave scene. That's the other thing. Disney World has the cave scene in Cambodia, which is so much. That's a really cool scene, and the little
Yeah.
sounds in there are awesome. So,
Yeah.
and the skippers, like I've ridden it twice. I've never had a memorable skipper at Disneyland. I'm surprised by that
You
because you
mean
would
Josh
think,
Gad wasn't doing it for you that day?
no, he wasn't. Um, I've had tons of really good skippers at Disney World, but surprisingly, Disneyland, the skipper we had was very phoning it in by far on that one.
And
Not
they've
great.
updated that one to be like Disney World with some of the same updates they did, the cultural updates, right?
Yes, they have. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they also, Disney World does the Jingle Cruise overlay. It's one of the few that Disney World does an overlay that Disneyland doesn't. And for the holidays. And I think Jingle Cruise is a great addition too. So
Mm-hmm. All right. These should hopefully be similar, but, Star Tours.
actually, it was a little bit better at Disneyland. And it was really just the queue. Like they're basically the same ride, of course. But the queue, there was more on the, maybe I'm just forgetting, but on the big screen when you first walk in, there was more stuff playing that I didn't remember from the Disney World version. Maybe I'm just always doing Lightning Lane and skipping that room so fast.
Mhm.
But it just felt like there was more funny, entertaining things on the big screen that I just didn't see at Disney World. But maybe it's just because I skip that room usually. So I don't know. I just felt a little bit slightly better at Disneyland. I don't know.
What about the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge rides? Smuggler's Run first.
They felt the same to me. I
Yeah.
honestly kind of felt like I was in Disney, like Hollywood Studios for a while, because it just everything was the same except like
Yeah.
very slight differences. But when you're like in the heart of Galaxy's Edge, it's the same. Like I
It's
never
the same. Yes. So I think the colors are a little bit different. I think the biggest
maybe
thing to me, did you do Rise?
yes, yeah, we did Rise.
It comes out in a different spot.
Yeah, the egg. That's true. I
Mm.
was confused when I exited. I got disoriented for a minute. I'm like, where am I? Because like I kind of got turned around for a second because it's not where I was expecting to be. But other than that, yes, it was basically the same.
You were getting off and you're like, let's go to the baseline.
Basically, yeah, I was kind of thinking that. Yeah, that was the other thing that my wife was like, oh, you can't get a drink anywhere here? And I'm like, no, it's like Magic Kingdom. You can only get a drink in the sit-down restaurants or the Oga's Cantina at Disneyland. But so DCA was more
So that's how
welcome.
she makes it through the day. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
With the
So
children.
DCA was right, exactly. DCA was welcomed, except every place we went, it was like, $20 drinks. So it was kind of like, oh, okay.
Astro Blasters versus Space Ranger Spin.
Yeah, now this will be rectified here, but Disneyland's is currently better. But I will hold judgment because once Disney World's Buzz Lightyear reopens, it will probably be better. I hope they will add some new scenes or make it a little bit better. So, Disneyland is currently, actually, that one felt a lot like Disneyland Paris's to me. The Disneyland and
Mhm.
Disneyland Paris are identical to me, except the language. So, I kind of
I'm trying to
liked,
remember if I did that one in Disneyland Paris. I think I did.
yeah, I think I remember you saying you did. But yeah, it's superior that you can free hold the blaster, but I got so used to scoring because I knew where all of the points were at Disney World, that I could always max out my score. But now I'm like, I don't know, will I be able to when it reopens? So I'll have to learn the new targets.
Exactly. Otherwise,
So-
you're just going to lose your street cred, really.
I know.
And then the next one on the list, Autopia versus Tomorrowland Speedway.
Oh, Autopia was so much better. I was like,
Exactly.
oh my
So much
gosh.
better.
It's so much longer, and there's just so much more to see. And, you know, if you're lucky, the monorail will be going overhead, you know, while you're on it. And
Yeah,
the only thing
Autopia is way
that's-
better.
yeah, and the smell of gasoline is not as like choking you for whatever reason. Maybe they use different type of gasoline. I think weren't they gonna like convert those to electric at some point
I don't know.
at
Maybe.
Disneyland? I feel like I've heard that.
And
yeah.
I also like, we brought up Disneyland Paris in the pack. I really like the version
Yeah,
of
the
it
one
at
out
Paris.
there. Yeah, yeah,
Really
that
nice
one's
too.
really good.
Astro Orbiter, did you do it?
We didn't do Astro Orbiter because Disney World is definitely better, and it's just sitting at the front of Tomorrowland. It's kind of like, it felt like Magic Carpets, where it's just sort of shoved in the middle of a walkway. And
Whereas
yeah,
at
we
Disney World,
didn't-
it's on top of a building, so you get all the view,
Yeah.
you get all of that.
yeah,
The
you
only
can-
thing that's better is you don't have to take an elevator up. That takes forever.
That's true. You can get on it a lot faster. The wait was a lot of times of the day was 10 or less, you know. Whereas Disney World is always like a half hour, no matter what.
Yeah,
but
just for the
It's
elevator
a better
ride,
ride
primarily.
to be up high. Yeah.
All right. We have the two carousels, Prince Charming Carousel and King Arthur Carousel.
They're about the same. I don't really have. I think the only difference is Disneyland don't they have a Mary Poppins horse at Disneyland's that might give it the edge? But yeah, they're basically the same. I don't know. We did ride the carousel. Yeah. Disney World's we've done more, so I guess I'll give the edge to that one. I don't know. Is it slightly bigger? I don't know. It feels like it was slightly bigger, but it's probably the same size.
And then I have one bonus for myself here. Mr. Toads versus No More Mr. Toads. I mean, obviously,
Right.
let's go.
Yeah, Mr. Toad. Wait, so my youngest Harrison got to do Mr. Toad for the first time, and he was like grinning ear to ear the whole time because my other son Aiden let him ride where he was doing the steering wheel. So yeah, he had a blast on Mr. Toad. So it is very missed not having that ride there.
I mean, I know that your youngest is also just really connecting with the story and the morals of, you know.
Don't go to hell. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's such a cool ride. It's so weird and unique and bizarre, but it brings back a lot of childhood memories too.
Did you do Fantasmic? That's the other comparison points.
Yeah, we didn't stay long enough to do Fantasmic, so I missed out on that one.
And so
Unfortunately,
I presume you didn't see the fireworks over the castle,
no,
or
We
were
didn't
with
see
color.
nope. I had the virtual queue for World of Color, but they just couldn't make it. We were there like a half an hour before, and it was just like, okay, we can't. It was so crowded that night too at DCA.
Oh, you know what
So-
wasn't on this list that
There's a few more.
ChatGPT gave me?
Yeah.
Is Toy Story Mania.
Yeah, which we didn't do that one at DCA actually because it kept breaking down. So I don't know what caused it to go down so much, but we didn't get to ride it over there.
Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
I actually think that Disneyland's was slightly better. I mean, it's a little bit different layout. Really, just the last scene is slightly different. But I liked the separation of, you sort of go through that covered bridge before you get to the end scene. I think it's a little bit better flowing ending scene. So you also exit Daisy's dance studio from the different side of the room. So, but most of the rides pretty much the same, but I just think it flowed slightly better at Disneyland. I think they improved on it.
I think my list was for Disneyland Park only, by the way. Soarin'.
Yeah, Soarin's basically that. I prefer the Epcot version though, because you can get on it slightly faster. They have 3 theaters versus 2, so. But Soarin's good. I mean, it's good either way. It's just, you have the only difference is the ending. You got flying over Disneyland versus Epcot. But I kind of like the Epcot one, I guess, just because I'm in, Disney World
All
person.
right.
So
So now let's get some that are similar but not quite the same. The mermaid ride at DCA.
I prefer Disney World. It's just better themed. That building is just odd to me. I don't know.
I
It's
don't
in a weird
understand why
place
that
to me.
ride is there. Like
Yeah, it just doesn't seem to fit.
the Mike
So
and Sully ride was closed when you were there, right? Or no?
actually, no, we did get to ride it. I made sure we did it because it's going to close very soon. I don't know when it's closing, but it was still open and we did it. It's not a fantastic ride. It's good. I do kind of wish they would take some of it to Florida though, if they could. I mean,
So similar things that are
yeah,
not quite the same. Radiator Springs versus Test Track.
that's kind of hard. It feels like comparing apples to oranges a little bit.
It's the same ride system, but very
Right,
different.
same system. Yeah, I do like Radiator Springs a lot. Like I think they took the Test Track concept and made it better in terms of like fitting it to cars. But I still like Test Track. Like I think the new Test Track's great. So it's hard for me to like choose one or the other. I think they're a little too different. If they were both cars rides, I think Radiator Springs Racers would be better because they would have to make Test Track like some kind of racetrack thing where you're out there on the at like an actual racetrack versus riding through like the countryside of Radiator Springs or whatever. It's
What about
fantastic. So yeah,
Grizzly River Run versus Kali River Rapids?
you're gonna hate me for this, but Grizzly I think is better. The only thing that Kali is you don't spin as much on Kali, and we actually got a little dizzy on Grizzly River Run because it spun so
I mean,
much.
the ride itself. I mean, Kali can leave a little bit to like, and they turned off a lot of the water effects on Kali too, so you don't get nearly as wet and stuff, right?
Well,
But
they don't turn off the elephants that's from the bridge where
right,
kids like screw you. That's the thing I hate about Kali.
but nothing can ever beat Kali's queue. I just feel like the queue at
That's
Kali
true.
is.
This is very true. The queue at Grizzly River Run is not much of a queue. Just like most of Disneyland's queues
I saw
aren't great.
some pictures of your kids playing in the like little
Yeah,
play area there. I
they
loved that
love that.
area.
They
That was
loved it. Yeah. I liked
the
it
one
too. Yeah, it was great.
in the California area we're talking about, right? The
Yeah, right
redwood forest
across
type.
basically from Grizzly River.
Right.
I forgot what they call that. But anyway,
I'm curious what you think of this one, and if you even did it. Goofy Sky School versus Primeval Whirl.
gosh. Yes, we did do Goofy Sky School and my kids loved it. I guess Goofy Sky
I
School is
hate it.
better because you didn't spin, but I can't stand the wild mouse, whatever's.
Yeah, I do not like Goofy Sky School.
I would give the edge to Goofy Sky School over Primeval World, but that doesn't exist anymore. So,
Yeah.
but I didn't like it.
Oh, did you ride the big Ferris wheel?
Yes, we did the fun. We
Did you
didn't
do this?
do. No, I did
Because I'm
not
never
want to
doing that
do.
again. I'm never doing that
Yeah.
again.
See, everyone kept saying, "Oh, I don't think it'll be that bad," and I'm like, "No, everyone I've heard tried that is like terrified of."
That's the only thing I rode at Disneyland where I had to take a break because I thought I
Really,
was going to. If it hadn't stopped when it did, I was going to
you
throw up
would,
on that ride.
yeah. I did not want to do that one. The swinging is what they call it. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it
yeah.
was also like super long wait for the swinging one for some reason, and the other one was like less. So we did the stationary side, and it was good. It wasn't amazing, but it was fine. You get some cool views from up there.
Going back to Disneyland because this ChatGPT list missed Main Street vehicle comparison.
Oh man, well, they're way better at Disneyland because they're out more. I guess they can be out more because it's
Omnibus
not
is out
as
all the
crowded.
time.
Yeah, we rode the omnibus. I wanted to ride the fire truck because of Bob Gurr, of course, but in the 70th anniversary, but we missed it. It was full and we never got back to it. So, but we did ride the omnibus. Yeah, Main Street vehicles are awesome whenever you can do them. So,
Yeah.
which is
Any
most of the day.
other what about let's see. Another comparison would be Trader Sam's comparisons.
Trader Sam's was really good. We did go over to Disneyland Hotel to hang out at Trader Sam's for a while, take a break, and yeah, I still prefer the Polynesian just because it's at the Polynesian. I mean, I'm biased. I can't really say, but it's good. It's definitely good at Disneyland. Drinks are more expensive, I think, but
I'm definitely gonna.
I
I
liked
mean, I
it.
did it when I was there, but I'm gonna get to stay at the Disneyland Hotel when I
Yeah,
go at the end of
that's
February.
gonna be
So I'm
cool.
obviously gonna be frequenting
Heading up, yeah.
old Trader
It
Sam's
was great.
there.
And I will say the cast members there were amazing. Like they were some of the best cast members we interacted with was Trader Sam. So they were great.
Mm-hmm.
That reminded me. Oh, I will say, well, before you get to that, whatever's next, Matterhorn, we had to ride both sides.
Okay.
And the Tomorrowland side, I believe, is the rough side. It was the rough one to me. And the Fantasyland side was not as bad. So I would ride that side again if I could choose. But the other side was not fun because of some of the really tight turns or twists that you get. But anyway,
Did you
it's
try
still
to
a fun
jump out
ride
and
though.
get into that area wherever the basketball goal is or whatever in there? And there's
No, I
supposedly
did
like
not.
the cast room with the basketball goal or something like that.
Yeah, it's up there somewhere. But yeah, I did not try to go up there.
So,
But anyway, tree houses. You compare
oh
the tree
yeah, the
houses.
treehouse was being built when I was there.
They're both really good. It's hard to say which one's better. I guess Disney World's is slightly better though.
Tiki, bro.
I gotta say the original. I kind of like the original better. It was weird because when we went in that area, it was like, where do we go? Because everyone was just sitting around and we were waiting for them to open the door. The Disney World has like a queue that you can stand in.
Yeah.
So the Disneyland one, I'm like, is Dory supposed to go somewhere? Like, and then they finally opened the door and you're like, oh, that's okay. I figured that's where we went, but nobody seemed to like be there for the ride. It seemed like
It's smaller.
it's
And
very
also instead of
intimate. Yeah.
smoke coming out of the middle, it's water coming out of the middle.
Which was cool. It was cool. Yeah. So I kind of partial to the Disneyland version. It is the original, and I stood where Walt stood too, where that famous picture of him is. So that was pretty cool.
Did you do the great moments with Mr. Lincoln and stuff like that, or no?
Well, it was the Walt Disney, whatever it is.
Oh yeah,
What's the
they
name of
switched it up.
Right. So we got to see the Walt animatronic. We did do that show, and it was cool. It's impressive. It is impressive to see up close. It's, you can tell it's an animatronic, but it's still very fluid and lifelike for the most part. So it didn't break down on us while we were watching it. So it was good.
Which castle's better?
I mean, Cinderella Castle, I think is better. It's just, I get that, you don't want to see it from outside, they say, for Disneyland because you want to stay in the bubble, blah, blah, blah. You can kind of see Matterhorn and stuff from outside, Space Mountain, some places. So it's not like you can't see anything. So yeah, the Cinderella Castle is better. It's
What about
just
Main Street?
nice to look at. That was tough because Main Street at Disney World is basically turned into one big store. And Disneyland still has a little bit of separation of different things. So I kind of like Disneyland's Main Street. The smaller, not as I don't know, commercial.
Yeah, I think I like it a little bit better too.
Yeah. I think Disneyland Paris probably has the best Main Street I've been on though, where you can go in the arcades on the backside. I kind of like that better, but Disneyland's is probably a little bit better.
Okay. I don't know if I have any other bathrooms. Oh, we forgot the
Oh, Lord.
restroom comparison. You
Yeah,
are
I
the
have to do
restroom
that.
king.
Yeah, Disney World has better bathrooms. I have to say. There was a few at Disneyland that I was like, okay, these are nice size and big, but there's several, like even Pixar Pier, like right outside of Incredicoaster, I really had to go because we waited like 35 minutes or 40 minutes for like Incredicoaster. And I really had to go after visiting Lamplight Lounge and had like 3 drinks there. So I really had to go after riding Incredicoaster. And I had to wait because it was such a line for that tiny bathroom. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So there's a lot of those where you kind of had to wait sometimes to get a spot. Whereas Disney World's bathrooms, most of them are ginormous. So I gotta say, Disney World has better bathrooms by and large.
I think that's most of the comparisons. So I think if you were someone trying to pick between the two, obviously there's a preference for us for Disney World always. I
Yeah.
think from like a overall, if you're looking for a general just resort vacation and you want the Disney bubble experience, I think nothing's going to be Disney World. That is a land unto itself.
Yeah.
I think if it's closer for you to Disneyland, obviously there's a lot of better versions there. It is smaller, it's more intimate. And I think one of the things a lot of people like about it, it is lower stress, lower key. I think, like you said, you didn't really need the lightning lanes for a lot of stuff because
I kind of wasted money on it.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not nearly as crowded, it's not nearly as intense, it's not nearly stuff like that. And we know this from the Every Ride challenges that it's always been a lot easier to complete
It's very
a Disneyland challenge than a Disney World because of when it's more compact and the crowds just aren't nearly as bad in a lot of cases. So I think that's sort of one of the comparisons to look at is price point. I think Disney World comes out better, especially with the better hotel choices and things like that. But like nothing's ever going to beat the fact that that's the place that Walt built. That's the place that Walt lives. That's the place that Walt walked. So it is the thing that started it all. So Disneyland is always going to be one of the best. Now DCA, take it or leave it.
Yeah, DCA still has some work to be done. I guess they're still trying to improve it, but there's some great stuff there. But it's Disneyland, you need at least 2 days. DCA, a day is more than enough to do DCA. Like, it's good, but
they weren't having any festivals while you were there, right? At DCA?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I didn't notice any. If they did,
booths.
I don't think
they would have had like booths or something like they do at Epcot.
I think last time I was there, they were doing like food and wine or something that they do, but they didn't this time. One thing though I did notice is like all the PhotoPass pictures like came through, and I didn't have to pay for PhotoPass. That was interesting. So that was good. I guess that saved a little bit. So we had a picture in front of the fire station with Walt's apartment up there. So that was cool to get a photo.
Which I've been in. There. I hang out in Walt's apartment sometimes.
Yes. You go there frequently. I need to do that tour one day, but I guess we could have compared Mater's Junkyard to Alien Swirling Saucers, which
Mater's Junkyard's way better.
Yeah, it is.
And I just thought about the railroad. Obviously, Disneyland Railroad better.
Oh, and of course the monorail. You guys, Disney World's monorail is a million times better than Disneyland's. Sorry.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the Disneyland was designed for a tiny person.
Yes, it is so small. And you really do feel like you're going to hit a tree, and you kind of do hit some tree branches every time you go through.
Now, I will say, I'm staying at Disneyland Hotel, and I'm definitely taking the monorail in every day.
That's like that is right. So we did that. I mean, we took the monorail obviously out and then went to Disneyland Hotel to do Trader Sam's, and then we went back and went right back into Tomorrowland. That is pretty cool. Can't really do that at Disney World, but the monorail is like so much better at Disney World. It's giant, and the Disneyland version feels like a toy version of the monorail when you're in it. It's so small. Anyway, I was going to say the entrances to Disneyland versus Disney World is like the tap points. Disneyland's are cooler. Like the way
because they just changed those. The park.
Yeah.
Because when I was going, it was still tickets, I think.
Yeah, you can use magic bands now, which I didn't see a lot of people at Disneyland using magic bands. But magic bands are really cool at Disneyland. So when you tap, it'll take your picture the first time you use your thing, but it shows your name and your picture on the screen, and then the little doors open to let you in. So it's just, and when you're leaving, it says, Mickey's waving at you on the screen and it says, see you real soon.
Oh yeah, that's new since I went, because you could tap in with the Magic Band there, but they had to pull out a little device and like tap it.
Oh, really?
Right.
Yeah, now they have those touch points. Well, it's funny. I mean, not a lot of people use Magic Bands at Disneyland. I barely saw any, but they had, for the 70th, they had these 4 or 5 different locations in the Disneyland park. You could tap your Magic Band, and it would print out like a ticket of like, oh, the Disneyland Railroad. It looked a railroad ticket or whatever, but you could only do it with a Magic Band. And we went to the one that was behind the castle, and there was this family there, and the kids were like pushing the thing and tapping or whatever. And they were like, we were standing here for 10 minutes trying to figure out how to get this thing to work. And we just like tapped it with a Magic Band and it printed out the whole thing. And they're like, oh, they're like, what is this thing called? Like they had no clue what Magic Band was. So yeah, it's not highly adopted.
Such a different world over there.
Yeah. And the PhotoPass thing at the end of the rides, the ones that did have PhotoPass, you couldn't tap to get your picture, but there was a number on the photo that you could type into your app and it would give you the picture, which is interesting. So I took a picture of the picture and then typed in the number and got the actual PhotoPass picture. So
yeah, they're still a little out of date in some places over there.
Yeah, it's just interesting. And I will, again, to say the lightning lane thing, I don't think you need it. I noticed that the crowds, certainly during the week, in the daytime are very light, but after 5 p.m., everybody gets off work and they go to Disneyland. So the crowd's insane at night. It was way more crowded at night. Every night we were there. But during the day, not bad at all. Like everything was short wait. But then by the evening, it got really busy.
What do you think then about the change in the perk you're going to get for staying on property? If you're getting rid of the early magic hour or whatever, early entry, 30 minutes, and you get one lightning lane, one free lightning lane for your whole stay. One? Not per day, just one.
So that's the perk? They're taking the early entry away and giving you one lightning lane?
One lightning lane for the duration of your stay.
If it was per day, I think it would be a fair trade. But for the whole stay, I mean, depends on what you could use it for too, because we got a multi for Roger Rabbit that broke down and you could use it for like 3 things. You couldn't use it for anything that was good. So we just went back to Roger Rabbit later and reused it because I'm like, we can't use it for Haunted Mansion. We can't use it for Space Mountain. We couldn't use it for Tiana's, I don't think. So it was like, I could use it for Autopia or like Buzz Lightyear or whatever Star Tours, when none of those were a wait at all. Like they were like 10 minutes. So it's like, I don't need it. So anyway, I wouldn't get Lightning Lane unless you just had to. Now I did buy the individual for Radiator Springs Racers when it reopened because I didn't want to wait 2 hours. So that was by far, that was definitely worth it. But otherwise, I think I wasted, and they're more expensive. It was like $36 per day per person, whether you're at DCA or Disneyland, and not all the rides are on it. And Disney World, it's cheaper and almost every ride is included. So I think it's definitely a better value at Disney World and more needed at Disney World than Disneyland. So
I still wish they would give us some sort of lightning lane allocation with our annual passes so we don't have to buy them.
Yeah, I wish you can get like a certain number per year or something. I don't know, just something.
Or you could buy a pack. Like, could we buy a package?
Yeah, that would be better than just not getting anything.
Well, so, okay, right. So you had a great trip. Is it going to be 9 years or whatever, 8 years before you go back?
I hope not. I think I would go back more often if I could. Yeah, I'll try. Yeah, but again, Disney World is probably my home. So yeah,
I think at some point you and I, maybe John, go to D23.
Yeah, next year. He'll be there next year.
That would be the play for us, is to go there for that.
I am a gold member, which does get you a few discounts here and there, but not a lot. There's a few discounts.
I will
at
say the
Disney
main
World and
thing
Disneyland.
that was good for me at Disneyland, since I didn't get the pass holder discounts, is at least at several places, my DVC discounts still got me discounts at merch and other places.
They did ask me if I was DVC or Magic Key or whatever. I was like, no, unfortunately. It's sad because I hated paying full price for merch. That sucked. So definitely missed that.
It was only 10% for DVC, if I recall correctly. So
yeah, but it's better than nothing. So
mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I guess that will wrap this show up because we talked a lot. There's still more I can go on, but that'll be for a future date.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we were able to share it, and I know we missed John, and hopefully he'll be back next week. I know he was out this week. And we'll talk to him soon. But I'm glad I was able to stand in and see you, buddy.
Yeah, it was good to chat, and we talked about a lot of things. Your trips over the summer and this recent trip. So I'll mention, since it's our, we have YouTube, we have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or X. Sorry, I did the darn thing. YouTube channel, all on our website, travelingwiththemouse.com. Email address, podcast@travelingwiththemouse.com. We have Spreadshirt store as well as TeePublic, all linked there on our website. So for Jason, my name is Adam. This has been Traveling with the Mouse, and we hope you will join us on our next trip.
See you real soon.
See you real soon. Space Mountain.